I am back. This is her side of the story with Miss J, obviously. So last week we talked about my life update. I left my old job, started a new job. I was just kind of like catching you up on what my life has looked like for the last 5-ish months. And here it is. We are four. I've had 4 shifts so far with my new job, and I'm pretty much just kind of like learning things from the ground up. So yes, I am an assistant general manager. However, I didn't know anything about coffee. Girl, not a single thing. Didn't know how to make a single thing. But now I do have a little bit more of a little bit more know-how. I can make hot drinks. I enjoy making cold drinks. So like we have what's called hot bar, which is like your lattes, your hot beverages and whatnot. And then there's cold bar, which is like for our particular shop, we have coolers, we have energy drinks, smoothies, the iced version of a beverage and whatnot. So I really enjoy being over there, surprisingly. Um, One of my peers who's also training, this week as well, he's just like, oh, well, I'm going to give you 3 weeks and that's probably going to change. But I was like, I don't know. I like the fast pace. I love, because like being over at Cold Bar, time, girl, let me tell you, time flies. I get there, I look down at my watch and I've already been there for 2 hours and it feels like I've been there 20 minutes. And I mean, it's just because the rushes are just, they come in, right? But I have enjoyed the team so far. My GM is super nice. um she shared with me like the first day that we met, like on my shift, like when it comes to time off requests, she's like, I'm never going to deny a request. I was like, oh, have I found have I found my people, have I found my place? ah! Because like having a boss is going to tell you, girl, anytime you request a day off, you're going to get it. Huh? And she's just like, but also it has to be within a reasonable time frame, because scheduling, once they post, they post. But she was also like, I mean, even if you don't get, like, say if I don't like if you don't get like approved for the time off or whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get scheduled. And she's like, we have like 28 team members. I'm sure I can find people to cover shifts and whatever. So I was just kind of like, okay, like, love that. She's super chill and like very patient with me. I'm harder on myself than I think anyone else is with me. Um, and it's because I have to get out of that perfectionist mindset, and then I have to get it right the first time. So I'm giving myself a little bit of grace in that regard, and I'm just kind of like, I'm getting the hang of things. It's coming a little bit more naturally. I'm starting to understand the recipes. I'm starting to understand the cadence. So I feel a lot better. Fourth day looked a lot better than the first day. Um, I've met 3 shift leaders so far. Um, I've opened, I've had 2 opening shifts so far, 2 opening shifts and 2 mid-morning shifts. The next time I go back, I start at 8. So it feels really good to like start first thing in the morning. By the time you're done, you still have a whole day. Like I was getting off at like 11 o'clock, coming in at like 4:30, and like still having a day like this. You know, like it just feels so nice to be able to have a full day's work and can come home and like figure out dinner for the night, or grab lunch for me and my man, or just something, just kind of like, I love just being a dayside girly. It just feels so good. um I do have my first closing shift coming up this week. I'll be working from 1 to 8:30, which is, like our store closes at 8. So there's some that close at 5. I think some close at like 6 or 7, and then we have some stores that close at 8 o'clock. I was blessed to be in an 8 o'clock store. I was hoping for 5, but hey, it is what it is, girl. I mean, I still get a beautiful day to myself, so it's whatever. So that's the update for work. There's some things we gotta get into. Let me tell you. So, my boyfriend just celebrated his 30th birthday. We went out to dinner with some friends, a couple friends, and we had dinner at like one of his one of his favorite, and it's like a family favorite restaurants, Mongolian barbecue place. It's called Khan's. So good. Like when I tell you, I ate myself silly. It's one of those like you pretty much pick out all your food raw, and then you take it up to the cooks, and then they just kind of like they they grill it for you essentially, and then you go back. They hand you your plate. You go back. You enjoy. Now if you do like one bowl, it's like 20, I want to say. But if you do like a all you can eat, it's like 27. But they don't allow you to like um you can't do like takeout. Well, let me reiterate. So they don't let you do like doggy bags, and you can't share. Like they don't allow you to share. Like you get your own portion. If you do one bowl, $20. No sharing. They put no sharing all over the place. It's at the the bar where like you're grabbing all of your items. I think it's like in the entrance as well. Like it's just like they tell you like you can't share. You gotta have your own because people be trying to cheat the system, girl. But anyway, so we celebrated his birthday. He's now in the 30 club. Welcome. I told him I was like, you're officially an old head. Like you're an unk now. So that's that's we've been doing some celebrating this week. I've enjoyed my new work, and girl, the tea we gotta get into. So while we were like enjoying his peer and her husband, um we were just kind of like talking about things from my previous work, and some of the people that I liked, people I didn't like. We were just kind of like chit chatting, catching up. And so we got down to this one person that I felt like I kind of feel sorry for. Like I feel bad for this person because they have had a rough journey with my previous job. And I was just like talking about her, and I was like, oh, so I'm sure you've seen her. And so I went to like her Facebook to show my boyfriend's peer like what she looked like. And then I didn't clock it at first, but I saw, because I went to like her Facebook and I saw where it said add friend. And then I like showed them, what she looked like and whatever. And then I looked back at my phone and I saw add friend. I was like, ooh, not I've been unfriended, girl. Ooh, it was so like, I looked at it, I was just like, oh, shorty unfriended me. But here's the thing, like it, I felt away a little bit, because I was just kind of like, okay, um, so what's tea? But I felt away because I am a true blue tight like glue. I am a true Leo girl, and I want to be the finisher of things. I want to close the chapter of the book. I don't want the chapter to be closed on me. Okay, even if I like, so my last week I put in my 2 weeks like while I was on vacation still. And so that first week of the two, she was on vacation as well because she was celebrating her birthday. And that second week, which was my last, was when she had returned. And I really didn't, I didn't break my neck to have a conversation, nor did she. Like it, but it was no tea, no shade. Like it was just kind of like, whatever. I engage with those that engage with me. If you didn't engage with me, then there's your answer. So I didn't really say a whole lot. Like I spoke to the individuals that I actually had a rapport with, people that I actually liked. Like I was telling them like, hey, just so you know, like I did put in my 2 weeks, and my last day is this date, and I wanted to say it to you. Like, I didn't want it to be something that you found out, whatever. So, and I did not give this person that courtesy. I didn't really feel as though it was needed, and here's why. Because, this is a person I have been like for the past year trying to like reignite our friendship, because at one point she was trying to be friends, she was trying to hang out and all the things, and like my boyfriend and I had just moved into our apartment, so like funds were low at the time that she was trying to hang out and do things. So I was like home a lot of the time when we first moved in here. And so it was no shade. Like, it wasn't like I was, declining hanging out with her and another friend because I didn't want to hang out with them. I just was like, girl, no, I just don't have the coin. And I didn't really think of it as anything because when her funds are low, like, it's the same script. So, and we understand. It wasn't like anybody felt a certain kind of way or, ooh, who she thinks she's like. It was never that. It never gave that, right? So, when that happened enough times, I guess she had, like, decided, well, she stopped inviting me to places, which in hindsight I can understand, but it was just kind of like I explained later, like, I absolutely have no reservations with hanging out. Like, I do want to hang out more, blah, blah, blah. And so it just was like starting to feel a little bit weird, because she had like a crush on somebody that we work with. And so I am one of those people that, if you tell me enough times, and I'm like, we grown, like, we are in our 30s, babe. We're in our 30s. And and she's a little bit older than I am. Like, she's got me by like a few months. So, you know what I mean? Like, she's in her 30s. So when you have a crush on somebody or you like somebody, call me crazy, but would you not tell them? Or would you not, try to, like, see if the block is hot? Something, girl. Like, say something. Like, stop telling me, because I'm not that man. What can I do? I can't do anything about this attraction. Only you can do something, and only he can. So if you're trying to tell him, why are you telling me? And it was like, of course, like, when we in school and you have a crush on somebody, like, we just weren't kids. You know what I mean? Like, it just felt real, like, for lack of a better word, it felt childish. Like, you have this attraction to this person. They're nice, like, and I think at that time she just really wanted a nice guy. She was sick of, the bad boys and, rough around the edges. She was sick of all that. She wanted somebody that was going to be nice to her and someone that was going to be a gentleman and all the things. And I felt like that person was that. And so I kind of would give him, like, breadcrumbs, right? Give him breadcrumbs to kind of, like, help him see it, help him figure it out. And I would ask questions to kind of, like, figure out if she had a chance for real. So I'd ask him, like, hey, would you date someone from work? The answer was yes. Hey, do you have a physical type? The answer was no. It's just like, oh, okay, cool. Well, hey, do you find this person attractive? Do you find that person attractive? Like, just throwing things out there to just kind of, like, see if Shorty would be wasting her time. Well, he was answering all of the questions correctly. That made me feel like, okay, hey, I think he would date you because he's saying all the right things. But then I had to run it back because he is a Minnesotan and they don't always, I don't know what it is about this passive aggressive mess, but they don't always say what they really be thinking for real. And I had to learn that the hard way. I am very much a Southern belle, and in the South we keep it 100. Like, we tell it how it is and we tell it how it ain't. So it just was like, okay. So when that ship just kind of, like, sailed, that, it just crashed and burned. Once he'd figured it out, because he did figure it out on his own, I just kind of, like, was helping him with it. But he did come to the realization of who the person was that found him attractive. And so he was saying that he would ask her out, all of the things. So I was like, okay, girl, well, look, this is T. And the one thing about it, one important piece that you need to know, she knew everything that I was doing. Nothing was done in secret. Nothing was done maliciously. She was aware. And so when things changed, so did she. When it was just kind of like he was being different, he was being weird, so was she toward me. And so it was just kind of like, girl, what is, like, I will never do anything intentionally to hurt a friend. I will never do that. And so when that situation kind of, like, crashed and burned, it was like I was at fault for it because I essentially told her secret, which I did not. And it being a secret was actually crazy because it's like, listen, you need to find out whether or not this man is giving. If it ain't giving, then you need to go head on. You need, like, it just was like, don't waste your time having, this attraction for this man, and he ain't paying you no mind. Like, girl, she's pretty. You know what I'm saying? Like, body was tea. Body is tea. So it's just kind of like, it's really not going to be that difficult for you to find somebody, girl. Like, girl. Anyways, so push come to shove, we'd had conversations, and she was like, this was kind of what, or not necessarily ended it, but this was kind of like the strain for her. And I'm just like, okay, girl, that's fine. But real tea, it took me a minute, but once I came to this realization, Shorty really didn't, it just didn't phase me no more. Like, I no longer had an interest in trying to rekindle this friendship, because baby, I was just like, listen, if you don't value the kind of friendship that I present, because when I'm down for my friends, I am down like four flat tires. Girl, I got your back. And if you don't see that or appreciate that, honestly, she's not really a girl's girl. Keep it hot, like real tea. She's not a girl's girl. She's okay with seeing you do good. She just don't want to see you do better than her. Clock it. She does not like, and I don't know if that's the kind of friendship or the kind of friend I want in my circle, anyways. Because if I'm doing something and you feel like I'm doing something better than you, which in my friendships it never gave competition. It never gave compete. It's like I'm doing what I'm doing. My best friend, she's on her own journey. Like it's, like I just don't have time to compete with the girls that I talk to on a regular basis. You like, what am I competing with you for? And what's the competition? Like, it honestly, I've learned, and I had seen in like real time, this person, had a problem with being honest, had a problem with telling the truth a lot of the time. Is that really somebody you want in your circle of friends? Probably not. You have to be careful of, if you're a girl's girl, you got to be careful for them that's, they don't have very many female friends. Like, they are very quick to befriend men. Because I'm not saying this was her, but you might come across those that give pick me. You do not want to be friends with a pick me, honey. Let me tell you, that is an uphill battle that you do not. You don't want to put yourself through that. You know what I'm saying? Because like being a girl's girl, we're all about celebrating. We're all about uplifting. We're all about empowering. Pick me's don't do that. Baby, and they'll begin to make you feel like you do too much for being who you are. And real tea is like they're just unhappy girls. They are unhappy individuals, and I hate that for them. But like getting back to the unfriending part, like being unfriended, I had an issue at first. Honestly, I had an issue at first. Oh, my TV's so loud. But like it really wasn't given like I'm sad or I'm upset that I've been unfriended, because I wasn't. Our last week, like I told y'all, I was not communicating with her whatsoever. I did not have that conversation with her that I did with others. So it really wasn't, it was just the fact that she did the unfriended and it wasn't me. Like, she beat me to it. But I like unfriended in real life. She just did the social media version. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't really talking to her about anything. Like, we'd be cordial, the good mornings and hey, what's up? How's your day? Blah, 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 blah. But it never gave, that's my girl. It did at one point. But after a while, it was just kind of like, y'all are oil and water and y'all ain't mixing. And it was me forcing the mixture to happen. And I had to understand everybody's not meant to be in your front row. Everybody's not meant to be your girl, and that's actually okay. When you do come across those people that you thought were going to be like a good friend, a close friend, and then turns out that, they aren't that it wasn't giving that, learn how to accept it. Accept them for who they are, because what they're giving is what it's going to be. And especially if you are a people person and you just kind of like, I don't know, you always try to look for the good in others, that might be your downfall if you allow it to. So, when you come across those individuals, that, you just don't mesh with, just keep it pushing. Because there's plenty of people in this world, in this state, in this city. You know what I mean? And you're going to find your tribe. You're going to find your people. You're going to find the girls that get it. And then, the ones that don't, they just don't. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that just because they aren't your cup of tea or you aren't their cup of tea, that doesn't mean that either of you are in the wrong or that either of you are horrible individuals, because you're not. You're just not going to mesh with everyone, and accept that. Because the ones that you do mesh with, even if it's just two or three, those two or three, they listen. When you find your group, baby, it's not gonna matter who was around. It's not gonna matter, who valued you, who didn't value you, who unfriended you, who unfollowed you. Girl, none of that shit's gonna matter. Because you're gonna come across those individuals that value your time, that respect you. Like I had a conversation at dinner last night, and my boyfriend's peer, we were talking about like my reputation at my old job and how like there was a lot of like team members that really didn't like me because I was a hard ass. And his peer was like, like I hear that, but all I can think about when I met Jay, like I had a very serious like medical situation that happened. Like she was not feeling well whatsoever, and I helped her throughout that entire process. Like I was there with her, I was there for her, and like I pretty much like was able to help in a critical situation. And she said for that, she will always have the utmost respect for me because I was there for her in a time that she really needed someone. And we barely knew each other. Like I knew her sister worked for me, and so like I knew of her, but she and I didn't personally know each other like we do now. So it's people like that that see you, the kind of individual that you are, and they don't evaluate what others have to say about you. I don't want to say they judge you, but they accept you for what you present to them. And when you come across those people that they see you for who you are, and they judge you by what you have done or how you've treated them or who you've been to them, and like anything that anyone says is negative, they just like she blocks that. Anytime someone says anything negative about me, she blocks it because she knows me as an individual. Like she knows me personally, and because I've been there for her, it's like, yeah, I don't hear that. Anytime I think of when she literally told me to my face last night, like anytime I think of you, I just think about really that day that I was just really having a hard time. I just really wasn't feeling my best, and you were there for me. And honestly, that made me feel amazing. I don't care about who unfriends me, who unfollows me, because I know my character. I know the kind of bitch I am. I know what I bring to the table. Like, you can count on Jay 100%. And so because of that, and because of her sharing that with me, it's just like, oh girl, pew. You don't want to be friends? That's fine. You want to follow me? That's fine. You just beat me to it. And like I said before, like she didn't even really beat me to it. You just did it on social media. I did it in real life, girl. I did it in real life. I just like we don't really have very much in common other than the fact that we are close in age. That's it, and that's all, and that's okay. You understand? Like, I'm learning and I'm adjusting to the fact that I'm not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but to those that get it, they get it, girl. They are my people. They are my tribe. And I'm going to cherish those relationships. I'm going to invest in those relationships because those are the ones that care about me. Hello? We have to start investing in those people that are giving us the time of day, that are giving us our flowers, that are celebrating us. You need to go into the rooms you're celebrated in and stop trying to bang on the door to somebody that's not letting you in. Like, girl, you are worth so much more than that. Go where you're celebrated. I cannot stress that enough, because if you go where you're celebrated, then you're going to have like this wealth of love and appreciation, and like I can't really like even express into words really how good that made me feel. Just knowing that I was seen for the individual that I truly am, and it was in a situation where I wasn't trying to receive any recognition. I didn't do it so that she could respect me. I didn't do it so I could be looked at as like this great individual. She needed help and I helped her. And I literally did the very best that I could do in a situation like that. And I wasn't afraid. I wasn't like worried. I just kind of like, and I mean that's just kind of like my normal instinct. Like I can perform very well in a crisis or in like a serious moment. So it just was, yeah, I had no idea that it impacted her in that way. I was definitely glad to hear her. I was glad she shared that because it just kind of like reminded me who's important and what's important when it comes to friendships and like being seen in that light, because not too many people will share with me like the good, or maybe I'm just not in the right rooms, or I wasn't in the right rooms, girl. So having just a glimpse of that, and like, when I got home, we got home last night, and I was saying to my boyfriend, I was like, oh my god, we have couple friends. I love that. Like, I just, yeah, I'm just choosing not to give a damn. Yeah, I'm unfriended. And what else is next? Girl, what else is next? What we gonna do? Like, I'm so glad that you did that so that you ain't got to see what's going on over here. I wasn't paying attention to what was going on over there. And the end. That chapter is closed. You closed it, like on social media. I closed it in real life. That's real tea. No shade. So, yeah, I just that felt really good to get off my chest. To be honest, I think my therapist would be so proud of me because, baby, when I tell you, like, I just could not figure out why this friendship wasn't clicking, why it wasn't like, why can't we get it figured out? Like, what's tea? And now I don't care. Now I don't care. That relationship did not serve me, and it is what it is, and I hope that she lives a better and a prosperous life not having Miss J as a friend. I hope life gets so much better for you, and if it don't, then hey, I hope you find your group of people, which I believe she will. I believe she has, and Lord knows I have, and I'm not even giving it a second thought. Like, I wanted to share that because I feel like this is probably a common thing, and like what to do when you're unfriended, girl. Move on. Move on. Keep living life. Keep doing you, and period. Because that's it. You know. I hope that what I talked about, I hope it resonated with you. Take what you want, leave what you don't. And like always, I'm going to catch you in the next one. And if this did resonate with you, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you next week.